All right, we are live. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hi, Kass. Hi, Dr. Sasha. How are
Hi,
you?
very good.
A
Thank you for
very
having me
warm
on
welcome
today.
from Bangalore, literally and figuratively. Bangalore is super hot, known for its weather,
Hey.
but yeah.
It's been
Yes.
a
So
very
welcome
interesting.
everybody.
It's been a very interesting
And so,
time up
Kass,
here.
yeah. Sorry. So, Cass, you are in a different location. Dr. Sasha is in a different location, and so am I. And welcome everybody to the Extraordinary Encounters. That is a continuation journey. The second of its continuity of interviewing extraordinary people from so-called ordinary lives like we live. And before we begin, I would love to introduce Cass, which I remembered last time we've been so much with each other that I know that everybody knows. But Miss Cass Thomas is is currently based in Italy, and she is a life coach, transformation coach, an access consciousness certified facilitator, a 7 steps creator of program called 7 steps to flawless communication. And uh, you have to really go to her website to read about her because it's reams of achievements. Starting from the age of 14 years, she has been a very hands-on person, multilinguist, and enjoys multicultural information and interacting with people from different culture, race, ethnicity, and seamlessly kind of mixes with them. And um, what she believes in is that if your life is not going in the direction you would like to go, just jump to another train, change the train. So, welcome, Cass, to your own creation, health, wealth, and beauty. And today we are on a journey of Autism Awareness Month. So this is going on. And we have a very lovely guest from Mumbai, Dr. Sasha Nagporewall. And I'm very, very pleased to introduce my colleague once more. I call her the magical doctor because she blends medicine and magic very beautifully. You won't even come to know. It's very, very subtle. And she looks like, oh, okay, like any beautiful, ordinary person. But beware when you're interacting with her, you never know what changes in your life. And we have her here for a special reason. Besides being an Access Consciousness certified medical doctor, an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, a 7 steps teacher, and a 7 steps worldwide coordinator, she has been creating magic quietly in her own way. And today we would like to actually, talk to her about what are her awarenesses around autism, what does she know, and what is that is very close to her heart. So, Cass, before that, anything you would like to add on, please?
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to say, who is Dr. Shubra?
Exactly.
Perhaps Dr. Sasha and I will say that. She's a painter. No, she's a doctor. She is a psychiatrist, and she works a lot with energy. She has been also a certified facilitator of access consciousness, but is also you really using those access bars, 32 points on the head, lightly touched, release all the electromagnetic, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and works with children. And she has two sons that I really get that are my sons, but don't tell her I said that. However, one is just they become a teenager, and they're amazing. And their brilliance and intelligence is unique and different. So she has been working also with people with not just physical and mental, but also energetic ways that they can get themselves out there in a very different way in the world. Would you like to add something, Dr. Sasha?
She also uses a blend of medicine and magic in a very different way. And like like she said, we're colleagues and we have this beautiful interaction, and she's more than what she appears to be. But don't ask her questions because it won't change your life.
Exactly. And we've been engaging, dancing with the riches of our life together for several years, the three of us. And we're together last March, together, um, the three of us, and this March individually together. So it was great. And let's see what else. But
Great.
Dr. Sasha, with your brilliance. Would really love for you to share what you know that we could be do have create generate this month um, for kids and their parents and who have autism. Yeah.
Where do I begin? Thank you guys for having me here, firstly, and thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. Um, well, I would generally recommend parents and kids. I mean, parents particularly, to begin with, is maybe to recognize that this might not be uh, what they think it is, and they might have to do and educate themselves on the different resources that are available out there to actually get more information on how autism works for different kids on the spectrum. And because it's not the same for everyone, the symptoms are not the same, the appearance is not the same. Someone can be totally functional and totally autistic at the same time, and someone can appear to be autistic but not have the same symptoms as somebody who looks a particular way. So it varies from case to case. So I would suggest first look at your kid as a unique individual, and then study them for who they are and discover what they have to offer. And you never know, because you might then add to what we already know about autism and the growth of something different. Because we, as medical professionals, we know that we only use about, say, 5 to 10% of our brain at any given point of time. Autistic people, on the other hand, use maybe anywhere between 60 to 70%, maybe even 100% of their brain capacities. And that is why they're highly misunderstood, because we don't have enough information on how to interact with somebody who's that high functioning and who doesn't adhere to normalcy, who doesn't adhere to the conventions of this world. So, with regards to all of that, when we look at somebody with autism, myself included, um, it's you got to look at it like as if you know nothing, to then discover what you do know about it, to then discover what else you can add to it. And then through that discovery process, you will find ways to not just interact, but have a living that works for your child, for you, for the interaction between you two, um, and make the journey very pleasant and easy. And I'm sure that there will be some days that it might not be so easy. But that's true for even people who so called normal. So why would it be any different for somebody who's also very high functioning? And especially in the world with the kind of stimulus that we live in, for a normal person to deal with something like that could be simpler. But say for an autistic person who has this spatial awareness that goes way beyond what normal people experience, um, that can be amplified. Some days it could be amplified by 100, and some days it could be amplified by 1,000. Depends on the day. So definitely, educate is what I get in this area specifically. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much for that about that 5 to 10%. At least we've gone to 10%. It used to be 5 to 7% of our brain capacities. But thank you so much for really articulating that percentage, anywhere from 40 to 50 to 70 and maybe 100%, because that is actually something that with autism, they have that capacity, not mental just the mind, but the brain capacity. And when we are engaging with people who have something different than us, we actually start lowering our bands, right? And not really acknowledging, recognizing, engaging with their magic, with their capacities. So I really love that. I almost tears of joy and emotion. Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I have another question. A lot of times, we often miss, especially in women, people on the spectrum. So you look normal, you talk normal. So then, what's different? And this may have been something of a challenge for you also till the time you really acknowledged whatever was going on. So how was it different for you? What were the experiences? And would you like to share something about that? Because currently the rate of autism spectrum, boys is to girls is 4:1, which means 4 boys to 1 girl, which actually is a bit misleading because in women they can mask their symptoms very well because of the little high emotional resilience. So, what were your experiences as you were going on? So you're a so-called normal, So, and what I gathered from the whole conversation is that they are the people on the spectrum are abnormal,
Mm.
above normal, the way above normal, where they're utilizing almost that much of a capacity of their brain. So, what was
Yeah.
it for you?
Well, I mean, thank you for asking again, because for me it was so when I was in school, a lot of my teachers, when I was at a low grade, like grade 1 and grade 2, a lot of my teachers were like telling my parents how I'm a slow child and I might need a special school. And my mom was just like, you don't get her, you don't understand her, that's your problem, but I'm not putting her in a special school. And I think I kind of took that to heart, and I was like, okay, I gotta try to be normal at least. And then I would observe people and learn from them, because I never understood social cues, I never understood body language, I never understood why things were so slow, because I complex issues for me used to become really simple. Like I could see something extremely complex in science, in maths, in arithmetics, and I would be able to get the information in my head without even writing it down. I would have difficulty writing, reading, talking in front of large audiences. And here I am, a fully functioned medical doctor who has, almost a surgeon, and just like, completely outdone what was. And I think I had to, like, for me, because my mom never labeled me with anything, I feel like I genuinely had to like learn how to communicate, how to be friends with people. How does this work? I started to question everything in a very different way, because I knew that I didn't want to cause any discomfort to her, and I also wanted to learn how to function in this world. And one of the things that helped me a lot was sports, because in when I would go play and move my body, it would help me so much, because I that's where I would shine a lot. And especially team sports events, we would win everything, and I would enjoy it thoroughly, because for me, the movement on the playground, like I could predict where the ball would go, from which angle it's going to come hit you, with what force and intensity it's going to hit you. I still can. And it's really really fun, because I would just see things in a very different way. And more often than not, people would just have I've been called abnormal, been called weird, I've been called crazy since I was maybe 6 to 7 years old. And well, while that really didn't make sense to me, because I didn't really understand what they meant, I could just see everything as flows of energy. And as I started to build a brain and cognitive understanding and reasoning and logic and stuff that really slowed me down, which is important, because if you want to interact with people in this world, that's how they communicate. And that really, like for a really long time, I tried to fit in, I tried to be normal, I tried all the correct methods of doing everything the right way till I started to operate. And that's when everything just went totally out of this world, because I was experiencing things that I couldn't, that medicine couldn't explain, that people around me couldn't explain, that I couldn't explain. But I was like, I just knew how to work with the body. I knew how to work with the instruments. I knew things that I'm not supposed to know, but I would just know it. And I would like go there and I would work a lot and learn a lot and learn really quickly. So I realized that my method of learning is different. I cannot sit in a classroom and you cannot barrage me with so much information, because my awareness will expand a lot beyond it, and then it'll just be flows of waves of colors and energy. And if I have to read it, it takes a lot out of me. But if I read anything with total presence, I will remember that for the rest of my life. Like I can still see flashes of my textbooks and what I've read and where I've read it from, and information that, so it's been definitely not the easiest to navigate, because also there was not much information till I came across access consciousness. I came across the 7 steps. I came across breathing techniques. I came across different things that started, and a lot of sports and yoga that really then helped me calm down and like allow me to interact in a different way. Because even small things like I didn't understand sarcasm for the longest time. For so yeah, like people were like, they, and I would take everything was literal to me. Like for an autistic person, everything is literal. Like we take everything at face value. So it's like not even face value. It's like you say something, it's the word of God. We're not going to second guess it, because it's so, for us, we don't do the, how do I put this? Like, I think
Pretense.
autism, yeah, there's no pretense. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. And I've had the toughest time explaining this to people, that with me, it's like what you see is what you get. And there's nothing like I will explain something and this is just how it is. And the simplicity of that is really tough for most people to comprehend, because it's like, no, you must have something else going on, and you must have something else going on. And I'm like, do I? Like, maybe I don't think so, but okay, sure. And so I've had difficulty in maintaining and making friendships, because conventional friendships don't work with me. Like, you can pick up the phone and talk to me today, and then you can talk to me 6 months later, and it'll be the same, because that's just how my world functions. But that's not how the world functions. So it's very different to then recognize how to slowly integrate and understand different nuances of how society functions, culture functions. And then I've had to educate myself, okay, this is what works here and this is what works here. And then when I look at myself, it's like, oh my God, I can see such an easy path, but not everyone is going to go there, but I can go there and learn with myself and spend time with myself to discover how this uniquely works for me. And I'm still discovering it. Like, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing it. So, three things I got out from what I was listening to you. The last one is the first. Thank you for answering the question. How did you deal with it? You already pulled the question out of my head. Another of your capacities, I wonder. The second thing was that very grateful to your mom that she never labeled you and she kept you in the environment where you actually had to kind of go out of your comfort zone to grow in your social skills and communication.
Yeah.
And the third thing was that when you talked about being weird, so how much were you aware uh, mm, of the etymology of the word fear, of
Yeah.
weird, that of faith and destiny? Like of uh,
Spirit,
faith
fate,
and
or destiny.
spirit, faith and destiny. So, how energetically we are operating, we sometimes don't realize it, and that's the beauty that people can see around. That it's not just like on the outside, what's going on in the inside. That's so much important, and there are so many people, especially on the high functioning side, who are struggling because they look normal. So it's
Yeah.
almost like, as a psychiatrist, if somebody would say that if somebody has a broken leg, it's easier to see than a broken heart. So if you have a broken heart, nobody can really kind of guess it because nothing is visible on the outside. And
Yeah.
here the difference becomes even more subtle. The operating systems become very, very different in this. So the autism spectrum, it's a spectrum. You know, no two people on the spectrum will ever be same. However, they may have some issue somewhere of social skills and communication difficulty, depending on in varying degrees what
Yeah.
their challenges are. So, you talked about some modalities which you have been doing, which has helped you integrate, a little more seamlessly with the this reality. So,
Yeah.
what were the things that really helped you? If somebody is would like to know how they can improve in their functionality,
So
embrace themselves the way they are.
Absolutely. And also, I just want to say that how many of us, I mean, autism is something that maybe 50 years ago, people were not identifying, right? So many of the things that you said, so related, to me, and never feeling, wrong, never feeling like you're being judged. And how much can that actually be a contribution for people who do not feel like they are the right version of them. You know what I mean? So really just love that. I'm going to listen to it again, that first part, and again and again and again. Go ahead, darling.
yeah, absolutely. Because when you're autistic, your brain does not do understanding. Your brain doesn't understand anything, to be honest. There's it's like you're in a river and you can identify the rock, but there is no need for you to label it as a rock, because you kind of know, you just know that it exists, you know that this is what this is, and it's a very different like way of just looking at the world and being with the world. Like everything becomes very sensory. I would say your sensory function is extremely high. So in some cases, which is also why a lot of autistic kids don't like to be touched or prefer touch in a very different way, because of the kind of spatial awareness that they have around them. So two, three things that started to assist me was access consciousness, where I learned that energy is the first language. And I was like, that makes total sense. Oh my God, yes, thank you. And body awareness and spatial awareness and things around awareness, essentially. And then Seven Steps to Flawless Communication, which is with the lovely Kass, where I had to learn how to be able to communicate energetically as well as verbally in this world. Because there would be many moments where I would say something in my head, thinking that I have said it out loud, and not realize that I've not actually said it out loud. It's just been in my head. If that's happened more times than I can count, then I've had to remind myself, you need to use words. They use words here. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then use words. And then a lot of yoga. I'm not sure what kind of yoga. I've done many different versions of yoga, and many different versions of sports and music, of course. Like I like playing instruments. So basically, a form of creativity that gets you engaged with your body and your mind, that allows for neural pathways to interact in a very different way. That has helped me a lot. And yeah, like just more allowance to learn about energy and how it works. I think that's what really, really set me free. And this key is this bit about understanding, where once I stopped trying to understand everything, I understood the world faster and with more clarity than by trying to understand things, because then I would spend longer to get to what I already know rather than just knowing what I know and working with that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So at a physical level, what I get is a creative expression of any kind, music
Yeah.
and sport. Any
Yeah.
sport will be helpful at a mental and emotional level. Access bars, 7 steps to
Yeah.
flawless communication, any meditation, any modality that helps you to calm down and kind of declutter, because there is so much of information being picked up, and there's an overload.
Absolutely. There's so much more that unites us than separates us, right? So if we're willing not to separate from ourselves, then we don't actually separate from others. And we actually really just expand that zone. I totally agree. This is this is something that actually we can be an invitation, perhaps, for people come on a Zoom or something, because I'm sure many people, including me, we all have experiences to share, but also an invitation for people to see it from a different perspective. What do you ladies get?
Absolutely. That
Absolutely.
would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Awesome.
have any other question, Cass?
Yes. When can we perhaps do together as a Zoom and invite people if they'd like to hear more and ask questions? Because please, if you're hearing this, um, you know that perhaps anything that you've considered strange about you or any of your colleagues or friends or also children and family, perhaps it's not strange, perhaps it's actually something unique about them. And these ladies are magic. I'm just saying, magic. It's not a compliment, it's an acknowledgement. Dr. Sasha, how can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram as the Doctor of Possibilities. You can find me on Facebook. My Doctor of Possibilities page is not yet up and running, but you can find me at Dr. Sasha Nagporewall. And yeah, that's for right now. My website is still under development, so I can't give you that just yet. But yes, I'm available
Absolutely.
on all social media platforms. Yeah.
And you can find her on the number 7steps.us as one of the amazing professors there. Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. So we'll see if you can join us. We will be again on Tuesdays, the Tuesdays in April, and really inviting different people to come on and share their magic with us and with you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, Dr. Sasha. Thank you, Cass,
Thank you.
for having this conversation and continuing the lives on a topic that's especially close to my heart. Having, and it will be for so many people, like Cass said, we will encounter sooner or later, and we will be knowing also. So,
Yeah.
what if we were more informed about how do you handle the challenges? What contribution would that be to them? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.